One shot, one kill. I'm on fire. On est déjà. Double kill. Overstay your welcome.
Yeah, sorry, really. I game crashed. Not game, computer crashed. So let's hope that doesn't happen again. I did a lot of overclocking of stuff, so I might have overdone it. Yeah, but my game runs super smooth when it's running. Just pinned at 300 FPS all the time. Feels great. Looks amazing. The bottleneck in my system before was my memory. And I have upgraded now. So everything's just oh so nice.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Stream appears to be perfectly smooth as well.
I am loving this. Yeah, let's move it, people.
Enough waiting around.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baptiste. Oh, you're welcome.
Hey, salute you.
Need something?
Crusader online.
5,
Sorry.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I recommend.
Attack. Yes. Capture objective A.
That wasn't what I wanted to do.
Objective A captured. Commence attack on objective B.
Oof. I did split them up a bit though. Nah, we're done.
Où en étais-je?
Ash here. I'm not checking in.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
Toi. No one can hide from my sight.
Yeesh. The dive. I should be taking safer angles. Alright. Gotta push my limits to know my limits.
Here I am.
Get here.
You should have stayed there.
Oh, the Genji. Out of nowhere. Yeah, but their team is split up. Come on.
Rendez-vous avec la mort.
Let's see if we can get an angle.
That is it.
Meteor strike.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Oh, no.
Locked and loaded.
Healing enough.
No one can hide from my sight. Rien ne peut pas. There you are.
Time to raise my DPS.
Oof. What hit me? The Torb?
C'est la vie. No one can hide from my sight.
Heldenstern.
60 seconds.
What is
That's fine as long as my team can move in.
Feeling sleepy?
They're really split up. Push forward.
Rendez-vous avec la mort.
Meteor strike.
30 seconds remaining.
Make every second count! Crush their defenses!
Oh my gosh, the kill on that Doomfist. Come on, let us do it. Oh, heck yeah. They pushed up so far on me that they can't get back in to deal with it. Now I just got to get in there and set up and we're good. Come on, come on. Let me get up here.
Party on the objective.
Nah, that was bad. I didn't want to jump down because then I'm stuck down there. I didn't want to go past the window. Rip. I screwed up.
No. Helden sterben nicht.
Oh well.
Defeat. Play of the game. Double kill.
Wow, I'm on it.
A riding
The classic. Oh! Oh! No! Would have been so clean to keep that going.
One kill.
Oof!
One shot.
enemy
One
needs
kill.
15 kills to win.
One shot. One kill. I see.
Oh, he got me.
One shot. One kill.
Enemy needs 10
One
kills to win.
One kill.
Okay, alright.
One
Wait, how many kills? This is a 20? If I pop off, I could come back. Oof. Oof, oof,
One
oof.
shot. One kill.
Enemy needs 5 kills to win.
One shot. One kill. Things
Enemy needs 4 kills. Enemy needs 3 kills. Enemy needs 2 kills.
Oh my gosh, some of these guys are good.
1 kill.
Why are they so good? No!
One shot. One kill.
No!
One shot. One kill.
What? Oh, I got my game.
Traveling to Mumbai. Prepare to attack.
Oh yeah, good
Select
Widow
your
map.
hero.
What does my profile even say about Widowmaker? 54 hours in all modes. That's it. All competitive seasons. 5 hours of Widowmaker. What the? Right.
One
Yeah,
shot.
not on my main account, I guess.
One kill.
Lucio, I never realized your father was the one who invented Vishka's sonic technology.
The Cortec was his life's work. Owned it pat.
Oh, The game crashed. Well, at least it was only the game that time. But that is concerning. I'm probably gonna have to dial back an overclock.
Now traveling to Petra.
One shot, one kill. Salut. Je ne vais plus te lâcher.
Oh, I've got 140 ping, 150 ping, 160. What is this server I'm on? It's a bizarre ping spike.
Watch and learn. Watch and learn.
Oof. Well, whatever. I got one good shot.
Now traveling to Busan. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
One shot, one kill.
Imagine the worst possible. Now, avoid that.
I would take my bow against your rifle any day.
That would be the last mistake you ever made.
Barrier activated.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture the objective.
Ah, I knew they had a Sombra.
Did you want?
Locked and loaded.
You're fully hit.
Oh my gosh, I should have gone for the headshot. What am I doing?
Essayons encore une fois. La veuve tisse sa toile.
You don't need healing. You need aim, bro.
هيكون مؤلم. جون بغير مصدي. وريه. C'est la vie.
Okay.
Rendez-vous avec la mort.
Oof.
Best round lost.
Regen burst activated. Let them out.
Score 0-1.
Let's get to it already.
Don't worry, I'll pop off. That's like the worst Widow one.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective. The objective is
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
Ça pique, n'est-ce pas?
Ryan, you gonna hold that shield up and move forward?
No one can hide from my
Go left.
sight.
Go left.
Join me.
My gift to you. Sniper.
Oh! She knew exactly where I was after that shot.
Sorry.
That was a really good shot, though, from her.
Locked and loaded.
Oof. Get oofed.
Who only dares?
Defeat. Play of the game.
All right. Alright, getting ready for coaching now. Alright, BRB while I get set up for this coaching session. swapping accounts here for coaching. Which one? I hit 36 almost on this account. What? Sure.
Be right back.
Free your mind.
Right. Looks like we're gonna get going here. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Good to have you. What name would you like for me to refer to you as? You have an in-game name, your Discord tag, or email you the name you're using in email. What would you
You
prefer?
could just call me M.
M? All right, M. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Take things like that for granted these days, or you can't take things like that for granted these days with everything going on in the world.
Definitely.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. So I sent you a request on an account that has a Japanese name.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. If you could accept that and then hop in game. Meanwhile, tell me a little bit about you and Overwatch and what you are hoping to get out of this session. Like, if there's nothing else but this one thing, like what do you want the end result to be here?
Hold on, quick play, right?
We may end up using quick play. Yes. So you can go ahead and queue for that.
Okay.
Because yeah, we'll want to take a look at your gameplay firsthand.
Okay. I guess I just really want to polish up my Widowmaker. Like, I know I'm very inconsistent, and I really want to change that.
Cool. So, all right. If you're able to play Widowmaker in Plat, so just looking at your profile a little bit, unfortunately, I can't make any assumptions about, what you might be doing right or wrong. There could be a lot of things. You could have incredibly godlike aim, but just have awful positioning and awareness, or you might have great awareness but not be hitting shots the right way. So depending, there's a lot of different little things we could take a look at.
Yeah, I
and-
know definitely today my aim's been a little rough.
Okay. But that's one of the things, because even though I'm not the best Widowmaker ever, I still prefer to play Widowmaker. Like, she's definitely my favorite DPS. Even though I went on a brief Echo binge when she came out, Widowmaker is still my favorite. It's just the most rewarding and highest potential for just cool stuff you can do and get good plays.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, but you can't. If you like playing Widow, you can't limit yourself to only playing her when you're in your top condition and hitting all the headshots. So, one of the tips that I took to heart a long time ago was not trying to just go for headshots. Not trying to just go for a lot of harder shots. There are ways to play Widow consistently by just sometimes even playing straight up with your team on the ground using a Rhine shield, and sometimes even just breaking barriers, as weird as that sounds, or waiting for the good opportunities to even just put someone low rather than get the kill so someone else can finish them off. So I'll see if I can point out any of this stuff, or if there's other questions you have that come up. Well, absolutely, you have me for this hour. Ask any questions you want and I will do my best to help you improve.
Sounds good. I did join into a game, but I joined in at the very end, so I had
saw.
to do it again.
Yeah, I can see from the social menu here. So there's no worries. Do you have any questions in the beginning, or is there any one aspect of the game or gameplay with Widow that you feel like you struggle with?
Just like the mechanical bits, I guess. Like, I do warm up a lot with workshop game code, and then usually play quick play before even going into comp. But sometimes I don't just play Widow at all in comp because of how rough it gets.
Well, so yeah, there's some matchups and some maps where, like, if you're a really good Widowmaker, like above where you are in ranked, so you'd have to be significantly better, you can still carry and do just fine, or still have a good impact. But there's some matchups where you'd be better off not taking the chance and playing something else. So if you are able to flex and you're not, playing Widow for the sake of Widow, but you're playing to climb in ranked, there are times when we can talk about that when you would or wouldn't want to be playing Widow.
Okay.
Like, it at a certain point, they're also, if an enemy team decides they want to swap their entire comp to be stuff that's just really hard for you to deal with, like if they go full dive with Widow, if they go with Winston, Diva, Genji, a Sombra, all this kind of annoying stuff that's really hard for you to deal with, and they can basically, if they decide to dive, you just kill you guaranteed, then maybe it's time to swap.
Yeah, I've had that before.
So that's a part of it. Even the best Widows in the world will swap every now and then, but for us mere mortal Widow aspirants, we gotta realize when we're just sort of pushing into a brick wall.
Oh yeah.
So it's weird for me to say that because I'm a huge proponent of being able to learn your hero in any situation and be able to make it work if you're able to learn how to react in every situation. But the amount of time and effort it takes to get to mastery there versus having other things that you're competent with, like maybe you swap out to something that you're only okay with, but if the enemy team is trying so hard to take your exceptional Widow down to less than even competent based on how effective you're being, it doesn't make sense to keep trying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't like giving up, so I often will force myself into those situations and just try and figure out what I can do differently to do it better or to counter it. Like I just came out of a game on Busan where the enemy team had a Sombra and a Genji for their DPS. Two things that are very hard for a Widowmaker to deal with, because my first death was just Sombra came out of nowhere right behind me after they realized where I was, and was able to get me down at close range before I had a chance. And then you basically have to always be listening for these DPS or you'll be ineffective.
Yeah, the past couple games I've just been taken down by Moiras mostly.
Oh, that's also
very annoying.
Yep, that's awful. Yep. So the obvious counter is just you got a game, cool. The obvious counter is just get good, hit headshots. Which like that's basically all you can do in some situations, is just try and go for the Hail Mary flick onto the head, and you'll get it every now and then. So you want to, but one of the things we can talk about then.
Science will reveal the truth.
One of the things we want to talk about later are better ways to train or work on mechanics. If you mentioned you want to work on mechanics, that's something I actually know quite a bit about working on. So, I mean, it sounds like you are already doing it. Basically, just 90% of it is going to be just practicing and getting the muscle memory down. But the other part of it is we can make sure you're set up for success with, settings wise as well as ergonomics. We can talk about that. So I'm not going to say much for the first couple minutes. I'm just going to be observing your gameplay. So yeah, just enjoy the Overwatch.
Here. Locked and loaded.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective
Огонь по готовности.
Okay, that was a rough one. I don't really think that much could be said about what you did for that one. I can definitely see where you might have been able to be more effective, so I'll focus on that. But yeah, that was just a rough game where the enemy team rolled and your team didn't really stand up to anything.
Yeah.
But you may have been able to make a difference, and this is how I would, what I would say you should be looking to do differently based on just that one game. So I know it's likely not representative of gameplay as a whole, and you may be having a super off night, so don't take this too personally, but you're taking these very aggressive angles, which are great until they know where you are. And then you're holding that angle and trying to take these duels that are really disadvantageous to you. For instance, first point when you're go ahead and just leave the queue. I'm gonna queue up for one and then try and show you how I would be trying to position myself. So for instance, on the first point, when you were fighting the enemy Hanzo as the enemy team's about to push past the arches there, at closer ranges like that and with more cover, Hanzo can peek a lot more quickly and is a lot more mobile, so it's going to be a bit harder for you. As soon as a Hanzo knows where you are and you're locked into a duel like that, unless you're really confident you're going to hit that headshot, he'll well, yeah, it depends on your level of confidence, but after you miss the first couple of shots and he knows where you are, if you're just waiting there to line up the shots, he can very easily just round the corner and drop arrows on you without even exposing himself for that long. So, and then later on, that last death, I guess, to the Zenyatta, you had a great aggressive angle, but after they knew where you were, especially even getting up to higher ranks, as soon as your position is revealed and you're that close, a good team will just turn and roll right over you and get you as an easy pick first. You won't even be able to grapple away in time. So, like, you can definitely take these angles, and that's one of the most important aspects of playing as Widowmaker. Even if you're not getting picks the entire game, like, once you establish that you're a threat, so ideally getting 1 or 2 picks early on, even if you're not getting picks the rest of the game, you're able to force the enemy team to play around you, just by wherever you're going to sit. And if they don't respect you, even just getting a stray body shot in can force tanks to turn around that can open things up for your team. So any questions about that?
Well, what you're saying does make sense. And yeah, I do play very aggressively, which doesn't really work out if I can't hit stuff all the time.
So, yeah, like, it's the only thing I think you need to do differently to make it work out is just know when to back up. Because you didn't back up, really, other than when you were on top of the arch in the very beginning. So, defense on Anubis is one where there are definitely very good defensive positions rather than offensive positions to be holding. The common ones I'm sure you already know, like above point on the first point there, right? You have cover that you can easily peek back behind, and you can see everything that you could already see from where you were on that bridge. Now, yeah, things are going to be smaller, but it's also going to be they won't be expecting you or be able to pinpoint exactly where you are as easily. So you can you get a few more shots, even if it's not a killing blow on stuff as it's coming through. And then also, you don't have to reposition when they start pushing whichever direction they're going to come through. Or on the other side of the point that looks down over the bridge area. So between those two high grounds, you're able to very effectively kite single people who are trying to come after you. So, like, there are times where playing a more aggressive Widow will be just always better. Oftentimes on attack, like, you just have to play it that way. But if you can get a vantage point that's really far out of the way to force the enemy team to have to do something dumb in order to take you out, that's always preferable, because you end up splitting up the enemy team too. So, like, if the Genji or a Winston or D.Va or anything has to dive all the way out of their way just to deal with you, you're already turning it into a 5v5 for your team. And if you can get extra damage in with their one person really wasting time getting over to you, you're forcing an advantage. So you don't want to make things too easy.
Okay. Do you have any tips for what to do, like, when my aim starts getting super jittery?
Oh, yes. Okay.
I start panicking if I can't hit something.
First question for you. What sensitivity do you play at? Or your EDPI? So that would be a factor of what the settings are on your mouse, and then also in Overwatch.
My mouse is actually an old one, and I can't find the DPI anywhere for it, but I think it's just a standard computer mouse.
Okay. So I got a game you can come in and spectate. It's Nepal, so we got King of the Hill. This should be interesting. Typically, King of the Hill matches are not very, or at least Nepal doesn't have very much, well, I mean, I've played plenty of Widow on Nepal, but it's not a map that you'd think of as being great for Widow. So, even taking the furthest back defensive angles that I can would still be, I mean, it's still fairly aggressive in how close I am to the enemy team. So what to do when you start panicking? I would turn and run away first, and then try to take a deep breath and come back in for an opening shot again. When you get your first shot is usually going to be your best chance before they're really paying attention to where you are.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and take. Let's see if they. Yep. If they got the jump on me, I'm not gonna take a duel where they can be crouch spamming to try and. I'm just gonna be taking as many body shots as I can, really, unless I'm just doing damage. Force them to respect me, or I'm gonna get free damage on them. See, they're having to play off the point. They can't all support each other, even though, I mean, yes, I got a couple picks. My aim's not that great either. I don't want to take that fight. He's coming for me. If I'm, like, I would, so I might come around here and peek, but if he's already shooting at me, I would back up. This is not my, like, unless I'm gonna flick to his head and just one tap him, which is possible, but I don't count on my ability to do that. See, just playing conservatively like this, trying to pay attention to where the enemies are. You can come up here and be aggressive. That's nothing wrong with this. But as soon as you start being focused or they start paying attention, like there, I'm done. Up. Nope, nope. That was really, like, I stayed there way too long. Yep, we can back out, try and play a little more safely. Nope, I stayed in too close.
Okay.
Yeah, I should never be the first one dead. There's no excuse for a Widow to die early. You shouldn't be anywhere that they can reach you. You have the longest effective range in the game. And now I'm paying attention to, you know, if my team's not doing so hot. Oh, yep, Okay, I don't want to, so I'm just going to kind of wait for my team here. We're not going to win off of this. I don't want to be fighting that. That's not a good matchup for me. So. Like, you can take these shots, but don't hold your ground. Know that you should be backing. I just want to take... See, so the key to consistent Widow gameplay is not just trying to go for the crack shots. Just trying to tap everyone and do consistent damage. A lot of games that I play on Widow, because I play like that, I'll end up with gold damage even. Well, yep. I'm not gonna keep peeking that when I don't need to. Yeah, and don't be afraid to left click either at close range. If you know, consistent damage is always going to be worth more than literally nothing. Woo! Okay, that was honestly lucky. I'm just taking a bunch of shots. Yeah. Sombra's gonna do that to you. And what I should be doing instead of panicking and spraying there, the only way I'm gonna get out of that, if she's even half decent, is if I can hit the headshot. Or if I have my grapple up, it can leave. So the entirety of this match, my primary goal is just to try and exist. And they have to respect me and send people to deal with me. Even if I didn't hit a shot or get a kill for the rest of this game, even just hitting the shield here to try and do a little bit extra damage, open things up. Oh, he's gone.
First round, 1.
So any questions? Any thoughts about what's going on or anything you're not sure about, like why I'm doing something?
Do you always use left click in close duels?
That's so 90% of my FPS experience in Overwatch is with tracking based heroes, so like Diva and Tracer. Well, Diva specifically, and the rest of it is all. Oh, thanks for the follow, Mominator. The rest of it is with Widow. Like, so my flicking and flick shots are good, but I'd like to think my tracking is okay too. Really, I get it, it's just that I would prefer to do some damage rather than none. But you're always better off. I want to be able to have some perspective on what's going on here. I don't need to be in there. As long as I'm alive, they have to respect and play around me. Using my grapple to get in aggressive like that is very risky. Sorry, got very focused right there. I'm just gonna keep taking shots as often as I can, even if they're not headshots. Forcing them to... Oh, okay. She got me. Yeah, I was playing too close there. See, that's the kind of situation I'm talking about where, I mean, I'll fall prey to it too. I'll tunnel vision in thinking, oh, I'm going to get this kill. And then you're riding completely on your ability to outplay the enemy, which you shouldn't be trying just to go skill versus skill. Because at close range especially, every other hero has an advantage over you, practically. So... like, theoretically, yeah, you're on even footing, and it's just my bad not paying attention to my surroundings. Theoretically, yeah, you can get the kill faster than anyone, just one-shot them, but unless you're feeling really hot, and even then, I wouldn't recommend taking that chance. So, like, even just being like that, being able to get a body shot from long range, my Moira is able to finish off the... Okay, this is just desperation mode, trying to get something, because I went in too close. Again, I did exactly what I'm trying to tell you not to do. I walked right up, tried to get in there and be aggressive, because I want to get some kills. What I should be doing is, well, first off, waiting for my team to have a presence on the point, because I don't want to be the only one up there for them to focus on. And then I want to be taking an angle to help open things up. So now that my team's getting ready to go, I'm going to wait for them to distract at least a little bit, and then we're going to be looking for some kind of pick here. Okay. Oh my gosh.
In range of the objective. Form up on me.
So, the only way I could have done more there was literally just by getting more kills, which you shouldn't have to be getting all of the picks for your team or like getting all the opening kills. Optimal play is really kind of what I was just doing. They're just harassing, existing, forcing them to respect me, and still, you know, if you can get kills, great, but really just getting in all this damage. A lot of people don't realize just how much shield break you can do with with Widow.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh, that's okay. Tunnel visioned in. That's too big brain even for me. You know, touch the point as Widowmaker. Anyways. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Really, just trying to exist and not die, and give yourself as many chances as possible to get those kills. Ideally in a way that's coordinated with your team, so when they're going in is when you start trying to go for those kills, or you can start being more aggressive about it and pushing up. But
how do you know when to prioritize like charging a shot? Because I know a 60% charge will kill a 200 HP squishy.
Okay. I just take shots as often as I see an opportunity. Because again, any damage is better than none. I shouldn't even be trying to stay alive here. This is just getting me staggered probably. Woo. Oh, nope. They didn't commit. I'm at 1 HP. Are you serious? Love it. Oh my gosh, I have 150 ping? What is wrong with this? There's something funky. Yeah, that we're back to normal. There, I made the conscious decision to be going for left clicks because I had heal support. So I'm just kind of playing with my team because there's, well, this is where I ended up, and now I'm gonna try and get. Okay, all right. If he wants to do that, sure. But their team doesn't have a Reinhardt. Oh, my game crashed. Fun. Interesting. Sorry about that. Coming back in right now. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Well, yeah, I just upgraded something in my computer, and I don't think I've tuned it in just right. New memory, and yow. Okay. Well, it won't let me get back into that one. So, why don't you go ahead and queue up for one? Or we can talk about mechanics a little bit right now. Well, I guess go ahead and queue anyways, because we'll have a few moments. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing Widow just with your team, because the safest place on the map is going to be right in the heart of your own team. But then as soon as they start pushing in, I tried to back out without using my grapple, not expecting that the Ryan would pull a suicide charge like that at the end. So it was the right idea, but in hindsight, I maybe should have just grappled away, you know, get that distance, have a chance then to take some shots or dodge him rather than just walking away. But yeah, you theoretically want to be at the beginning of the fight where you can get the easiest shots. So like you were doing on Anubis, taking those aggressive forward angles. But then you want to, as soon as you can, back up to somewhere where you're safe, where they can't do anything to you, where they can't take easy shots. No one else can take easy long-range shots. They at least have to try a little bit. So, yeah, I think one of the... Because honestly, I don't think your aim was bad. Your aim seemed... perfectly workable. You just need to give yourself more of an opportunity. You were dying in times where you really didn't need to, but at the same time, I understand completely the way you were playing, because I enjoy playing that way too. It's just, you know, it's fun to be aggressive and try and just get the kills, force yourself to perform. But if you seriously want to win and try and climb, it's not going to be just about racking up kills. As much as your team might be yelling at you that's what it's about. Like, yeah, sure, if you're good enough to just one shot everyone, get all the headshots, boom, team wipes every round, great. But the reality of it is you only need to be good enough to get a few, and force the enemy team to deal with you after that. And then you just continue contributing every chance you get.
Yeah, this is where I get very inconsistent. Like, today is probably the worst day I've had with my aim in a while. And then, like, maybe almost a week ago now, I had a competitive game where I was playing like I wasn't supposed to be in plat. So I'm very inconsistent, and I don't know how to change that.
Part of me wants to say Widow is just kind of like that. By the nature of, you know, how precise you have to be in order to get shots, to do anything at all, especially to have those high impact frags, you need to be very focused, very awake, very alert, mentally and physically in good shape. Tonight, I'm like, my mental focus and preparedness and physical ability and all are pretty much, well, pretty close to peak. And that's not because I was trying or anything. It's just, it happened to be a really good night for me, I guess. Even though I only got 4 hours of sleep. I don't know. I'm weird sometimes. But yeah, the days where I'm not, usually it just takes a lot longer to get warmed up for it. So, like, there have been times where it's literally taken me 2 hours to feel like I'm warmed up enough to even attempt to play, or attempt to play seriously and not just frustrate myself. And luckily for me, though, playing Widow, like, the majority of my time on Widow in the last couple of years has been Widow free-for-all custom games. Just headshot only. And really trying to get to the point where I just get in the zone and can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kills in a row, without missing even. That's when I can tell that I'm, like, you know, my hand is warmed up, my arm is warmed up, I'm not distracted, I'm able to focus. So yeah, making sure that you're really warmed up, that's usually going to be the difference, especially on Widowmaker. You can't go in with any half measures. So
5,
all right,
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers
I like it.
incoming. Defend objective A.
For your safety, please stay close to me. This is my will.
I like you reposition there. That's nice. Yeah, don't be afraid to just take pot shots on the tanks. Yeah, nothing wrong with body shots like that. That's, yep, time to reposition. Yeah, as soon as the Winston comes for you, you don't want to try and hang out at all. So reacting a little bit more quickly to that would have been great. It's kind of rough though, because the way you were thinking about going, even if you'd gone earlier, wasn't great. You never want to retreat to the enemy side of the map. You want to retreat to somewhere back on your side. So when you're setting up for positions, you want to be thinking about where you can back up to. Something I'd recommend doing too, rather than waiting for the perfect shot, just taking more shots. That'll also help keep you in a rhythm rather than going completely cold. Just going for it, even if they're not fully charged. Just trying to put in shots. Good job reacting to the Ashe.
No one can hide from my sight.
Yep. Yeah, so here, even if you're just getting damage into the tanks, you're doing big chunks. You can do a lot of extra DPS there. So if you know you're not, or if the enemy DPS are doing exactly what they did, which was just hide from you because they were respecting you, you can start taking shots elsewhere and try and at least still contribute. Yep. Yeah, just take shots on whoever you can. If they're gonna run away, just. There you go. Yeah, just keep going for him. All right, so let's go and do a little bit of work on, or at least, did you warm up before coming in tonight?
I was a little warmed up, but like I said, I've just been really off today.
Okay. So I'm not even talking so much about your aim, honestly, is perfectly in line with what I'd expect for someone at this rank. I don't think your aim is your problem. Even if if you're saying this is you on a bad night, your aim and your mechanics aren't your problem. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't improve. Like, everyone can definitely improve their mechanics, and that is like the one surefire way of just being a better Widow. Yeah, just hit all the headshots. But just trying to be more aware of your surroundings and backing up at more appropriate times will make a big difference. So, I mean, all right. So, what kind of mouse did you say you had?
It's a cyber power mouse, but I know it's an older model because I can't find it in any of the stores.
All right. So, this is something that I would really recommend doing for yourself then, is upgrading your mouse. Because at a certain point, especially for Widow, there are a lot of heroes you can get away without worrying about this, but especially for Widow, where you need to be pixel perfect, a cheaper mouse, especially a mouse that comes with a computer. I believe CyberPower mice only come with CyberPower gaming PCs. Like, they make good computers, but the mice and keyboards they include aren't necessarily gaming grade. They're simply good basic peripherals. I can give you some recommendations for a mouse. But yeah, that even if you got a basic mouse from like Razer or Corsair, anything even on their most entry level end of things would be significantly more accurate and reliable. Consistent, I think, is the best word, so that you don't have anything in between you and what's going on screen. Because really the way it works is that a basic mouse like what you have will only be reporting to the computer potentially as few as 250 times a second to the computer. Now, that sounds like a lot, but most gaming mice, every mouse that I own, I have 3 different gaming mice on my desk that I used for different situations. And or even just in different moods, like just changing up my grip sometimes helps me relax or flow a little bit better. They report at a polling rate of over 1,000 hertz, so 1,000 times a second. The computer gets information from the mouse on how much it's moved. So, in simple terms, it's not quite this way, but it's about, you can say it's 4 times more accurate to what you're actually doing. And it's just a factor of it having a better sensor and being better technology. So that isn't going to be the big thing that just changes your game and all of a sudden you go pro. It'll simply eliminate variables that could otherwise be hurting your performance.
Okay.
The other aspect of this, and this is again just sort of basic hardware and settings setup stuff. What kind of monitor are you using?
Viatech.
Okay, and what is the refresh rate on it?
I don't know.
Okay, so I've heard of Viatech, but I have never heard of their gaming monitors. And it's not that it's a gaming monitor that you need, because gaming doesn't mean anything in the world of computers. It simply means it's been marketed for gamers. You want a high refresh rate screen for the same reason you want a better mouse. And I'd say more than anything else, the monitor will make a huge difference to your ability to perceive what's going on in the game, as well as track and hit targets. So a standard monitor will only show 60 images per second. So you ever like move your mouse around on your screen, you can see all the ghost pointers, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you're seeing where that image is only as many times as the game or your computer is able to have the screen show it. But there's actually, there is information on where it is in between those ghost images, right? So what you want is to get as close to real life, where like if you move your hand in front of your face, you're not seeing a ghost image, you're seeing a solid object moving. You see it at every point in space across that as it moves. In Overwatch, in any FPS game, in any game really, the more frames you can see, the more opportunities you have to click on a head, right? So a specific example, let's say in the example of the Hanzo that's jumping around on Anubis and just peeks you, and he might peek you for 2 or 3 frames. So you have those 2 or 3 frames out of the 60 in that second to actually hit the shot. Whereas at a higher refresh rate, so the next step up for most monitors is 144 hertz. So that would mean you're seeing 144 images per second. There's more than twice as much information being relayed to you. You'd have potentially 10 frames where you see the Hanzo's head moving and have a chance to hit the headshot or body shot or any shot. So the other thing that will do is significantly decrease the input lag. So the time, and this is very perceivable if you ever decide you want to go back and torture yourself once you do get a good monitor and good mouse, to go back to a lesser setup. There is actually a perceivable lag that you have been playing with this whole time between when you click and when it registers on screen, because it takes time for it to render that next frame, that next 60th of a second.
Okay.
So I can give you some recommendations on both monitors to look at for future upgrades as well as gaming mice. But yeah, those are things that if you want to take any kind of FPS gaming seriously, won't just make you more competitive, but it'll also make it much more enjoyable. The game will just look better and be less stressful on your eyes.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so I've taken it as far even for myself, and this is, normally, I would still say this, being a better gamer still will be worth more than just having a better monitor. Like, you can take someone like Shroud and put him on a 60 hertz panel, and he'll still do okay just because he knows the game he's playing well enough. But there were a bunch of tests done. I don't know if you're familiar with who Shroud is, but he's like one of the top FPS gamers in the world. Like just mechanically skilled. He's beautiful, like what near peak performance of what humans can do. And they tested him on a bunch of different monitors, with the only variable being the refresh rate in a bunch of controlled tests. And not that I would need to even use this example, because I know this for myself, but like you will naturally be able to perform better when you have a better interface with the game. Now the benefits don't really carry forward up until like so let's say you have a 144 Hz gaming monitor. You get a faster refresh rate. There's 240 Hz, and even they're coming out with 300 Hz now. That's not necessarily going to make as much of a difference. The big difference is from 60 to 144. So you don't really need to go beyond that. I did for myself. I invested in a 280 Hz monitor. And it, for me, maybe because I'm good enough to take advantage of it, or maybe because I was just tricking myself into it, but it was a big difference. And I remember the first night I turned it on, jumped into Overwatch, I was just hitting headshots left and right. It was great. But yeah, it's just, it makes a world of difference when the game actually looks perfectly smooth to you. There's no, your brain doesn't have to do any of the processing to figure out, like, you know, the persistence of motion and filling in the gaps for you. The monitor has it just all there so you can focus on the game.
Okay.
So yeah, when we're done here, I can send you some stuff. So why don't you go ahead and hop into another one, unless you'd rather watch me and be able to ask questions and hear my thought process. What would you like to do? We have time for one more game.
A part of me wants to see if I can try and not get a 2CP map.
Go for it. Absolutely. No. Yeah. So like I said when we were emailing, I am not a top tier Widow player, but I've watched a lot of gameplay and I've spent a lot of time working on my mechanics for it, as well as just the general game sense. Like I still have the game sense of someone who can play in Grandmaster and analyze pro Overwatch gameplay, but yeah, building the muscle memory and the reaction neural pathways for how to play on Widow when I've spent my 1,000+ hours on Diva, that's where I'm working on it. So like mechanics in free for all, I'm there, but the same way you see me making those basic mistakes that I was calling out for you, it's just that's how I improve myself, is just by going to these games and making those mistakes, but then paying attention to the fact that that was a mistake, right? Why did I die, and figuring out what it was. It's usually simple stuff like just, oh, I should have backed up sooner. So next time a Winston jumps me, I'm just gonna, I'm not even gonna try and take that fight. I'm not good enough to do it. So back out. And other nights you might feel better and you can treat it differently. But a good portion of this is just going to be you getting comfortable with what your skill level will allow you to do, and then playing around that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then those general principles, like I said, and have been saying, just making yourself a known presence. So being able to get a pick if they make it really easy for you, but otherwise, if they're making it hard for you, you're kind of doing your job if you're forcing them to play in a way that's accounting for you. But just being alive and continuing to take pot shots, eventually you're going to hit something. Even if it's a lucky headshot, just take those shots and they pay off. Like I was doing, I didn't have that many kills from headshots, and honestly, those headshot kills maybe weren't even gonna make that much of a difference. But where I was making the biggest difference was just by existing and putting on a lot of suppressive fire and forcing them to account for where I chose to position myself.
Okay.
The next step beyond that we can talk about now is then working aggressive positioning into this mindset. So if you think back to when I was on Nepal, what was it, Shrine, where I was getting a lot of kills, but we still lost the point, I think, there. Yeah, where I sort of tunnel visioned and didn't move into the point.
Mm-hmm.
what I probably should have done is after the enemy team has moved up and my team is taking the fight, I could reposition to maybe the other side and get a little bit of an angle behind them, rather than just sit there, because once they know where you are, they can make it a lot harder for you to get shots. They're playing around those pillars, they're playing around their shields. So knowing when a position is no longer as powerful, and then moving, not staying in one place for too long is just kind of, I mean, that's kind of just good practice for snipers in every game. You don't want to be somewhere for too long where they can then come and deal with you. If they know where you are and can come to you, you're doing something incorrectly. They can know where you are, but if they want to keep exposing themselves, sure. The first map that was gosh, I'm so bad with the names. That wasn't Sanctum, the indoor one where we won the point. That's pretty much as ideal as it gets, where you're just kind of sitting somewhere and able to do enough to them. Like if they weren't perfectly coordinated playing with shields, so basically if they weren't playing perfectly, I was able to get damage and split the team off. So if they didn't all come in with their tanks, I can keep their DPS or healers or whoever out of the fight and give my team a huge advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, but and so if you apply that same logic, why did we lose that second point, on Shrine? Because I wasn't able to split them off. They came in together. They had, for instance, the sim wall, and they were able to play around that, or they went on the other side of that pillar in the middle of the point, and they're all there together. So I wasn't able to have as much of an impact. So repositioning at that point, rather than just trying to get shots, would be the next level. But if you can't even support yourself enough to stay in the fight and stay alive, making those aggressive pushes will simply end your life sooner, and then they don't have to worry about you at all. So, yeah, for now we want to focus on sort of being aware of everything more, like being aware of when the enemy team is pushing or where they're coming from, so that you can get good angles on them, and then we can and then start pushing for the angles that can really make a difference and allow you to carry a game, even if you're not getting the picks, but like forcing people to move and react to you. Yeah, very rarely are these going to be angles like you were taking on Anubis, which are just sort of a slight off side from your team. Yeah, you got a game. Cool. King of the Hill.
It's not 2 CP.
At least it's not 2 CP. That's right.
May I take your order?
Executing pre-combat routines. Optimizing strategy.
And I like what you're doing, just already taking warm-up shots. I very often will track my teammates and just take shots at anyone who's moving around. So anyone who's like, this is N, just taking shots. Because just tracking isn't going to do you much good. You need to get comfortable with whatever happens to your aim when you actually click. Right? That's always going to have some sort of small impact. So just tracking isn't going to do it. So I see you're taking an angle here, and you've maintained your grapple, which is great. But being able to set up in advance of them coming out is usually going to be more powerful. Yeah, I would just keep moving. You don't want to take that close range fight, so good decision. Yeah, playing with your team is always safe. Just keep taking shots. Keep taking shots until they start pressuring you. Yeah, you're safe. You're still safe here, all things considered. Just keep taking shots. And now it's time to consider moving. Don't stay there if you don't have a clear, safe angle. This is good. Yep, just Just keep taking shots. Make them respect you. Someone's coming, now you leave. Yep. This is better. They're having to commit a lot of resources to you. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about charging up so much. Like when you were up there and taking shots at the back of the Rhine, you just want to be going for as many shots as you can. Maybe you get some lucky headshots, but just force them to do something. They would have to back up, and then your team could move in because the Rhine's not holding his shield properly anymore. So the only times I'm going to recommend really charging up and trying to make the shot count are when, like that, you have a good off angle where they're not expecting you. As soon as they expect where you're coming from, oh, close one there. As soon as they expect where you're coming from, just go for whatever shots you can get. Like right here, yeah, just this is good. I wouldn't have recommended continuing to push it. I think my game crashed again.